Evening, everyone. Well, yes, 7 minutes past 5 UK time. Welcome to what I've decided to call the anniversary news, reason for which I'll mention in a moment. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everybody is remaining sane, dare I say it. And I hope you all had a decidedly more than positive, serene weekend. I have. So there you go. Good to be not back necessarily, because I've been doing bits and bobs in between. I just haven't really been doing this format for a little while because it does take a little bit of time and space and all the rest of it. And sometimes circumstances don't allow for that. Whatever, we all have lives, don't we? And it's not always the way that things happen the way we'd like them to, or when we'd like them to, and all the rest of it. I guess that is just life in general, with or without any accompanying, or in this case, dominating nonsense. Anyway, I've decided to call this one the anniversary news because a couple of days ago I was speaking to a friend about what happened today, exactly a year ago. I said that wrong, didn't I? A year ago today, even, or this date, because as most of you who will get to see this video will know, will be aware of, there was an incident whereby two coachloads of people wanted to go to a demonstration in London for obvious reasons. And the long and short of it is that one of those two coaches eventually got stopped at a train station in Hillingdon, Uxbridge. Happens to be Boris Johnson's constituency, actually. He's the MP for Uxbridge. Nice little side note there. But anyway, that's where this coach got stopped at a lay-by. And basically, it was a classic moment of entrapment by the police. A year on from that, what's changed? And all that sort of stuff. And that's a topic I'd like to get into, but not right now, because there's many layers to that. And we could speculate until the cows come home, because let's be honest, we don't really know exactly what's happening or what the, dare I say, goals are. We have an inkling, we got a rough idea and estimation as to what's going on, but for sure, not really. If I'm honest with myself, I know what I know. I know certain things that I've been told aren't true, and that sort of thing. I don't have necessarily proof for other things, but one thing I certainly do know is that what happened a year ago to the day was, law aside, just simply wrong. I'm going to put a link to one or two videos, or they were live streams actually. One Mike streamed, he was on the coach, shout out to him. And also myself, we both did a stream via Jason Disbury's channel on YouTube. And you can follow a good 2 or 3 hours of what went on in that coach. Yeah, it brings back a lot of memories when I think about it, because it was a very, very, very intense day, and it certainly woke me up to the realization of a lot of things actually that I kind of underestimated up until that point. How bizarre this all is, but of course by design. Anyway, so that was a year ago today, and yeah, how time flies. Certainly I feel it has. And I wanted to mention that because I was planning with Stacey to do a show today actually, and start off a new kind of series of episodes, a podcast, and we were going to have one today, but for some reason it doesn't work when you want it to, is what I was going to say, but there are reasons, logistical and whatnot, that we couldn't do it today, but we will be doing in the near future. There will be a podcast that we're going to be presenting. Haven't figured out a regular date as such, but it will be happening in the next few weeks, hopefully this year, but if not, it doesn't matter, because it's best to get it done correctly rather than rush it. But But this was going to be the main topic of starting those episodes because, a lot has happened since this time last year, and the narratives that you're hearing now are almost identical, literally identical. I mean, I looked at one or two of my old news segments from a year ago, and I was talking about this very thing, not because I'm a genius, but because it was clear to read in the government websites and everything else. You just had to have a little look and you could access the information very easily. And it was things like the narratives that we're hearing now, kids being particularly affected, blah, 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 and where whatever variants are popping up left, right, and centre, and just the fear mongering and all that sort of stuff that's working not as effectively now as it was, I think. Grounds to be optimistic? Well, don't know, but I certainly know of a lot of people who have had certain procedures done to them and have lied, certainly not to go and continue with them and all the rest of it. And I know there's a lot of anger amongst a lot of people. Certainly that's the feedback I've been getting. So we will wait and see on that. But I mean, at the moment, it's more of the same, basically. So that in itself is an anniversary, isn't it, really? But there you go. So I just wanted to mention that anyway. That was going off on a tangent there, but that was what we were hoping to have a conversation about very, very soon, about what happened on that coach trip, because I don't believe it's ever been really properly discussed, and it needs to be discussed or highlighted, I should say. There were one or two people who were there for me, and I can mention clearly here that they're going to be on the show. One of them, my co-host Stacey B, and of course another chap called Algorithm. And these are people who had the incident already made known over in the States before I even got back that night. So I'd like to also involve them and get their perspective of how it went down for them in terms of, what were their feelings, what was the vibe they were getting. Were there any comparison to be made with the States? Because, unless you talk to people in different countries, literally talk to them, you're not going to know what's really going on there at all. I recall not so long ago, there was big talk of massive Indian variants and stuff. Actually, once you started talking to people who lived there and everything else, wasn't the case at all. But of course, you get them pointed at and being accused of being anti this and anti that and a danger and extremist and all the rest of it, when in actual fact, no, all I've done is varied my sources and done a little bit of research and not just stuck to one source of information, which seems to be the mistake that everybody makes. They might argue, well, no, I don't just watch BBC, I'll watch Channel 4 as well. Well, you kind of proved my point by that statement. But of course, if you're not aware of that, then of course, what chance have you got? Well, perhaps listen to people like us would be a nice start. And not just fob us off and ignore us and mock us and all the rest of it, because we're starting to see now. And some people are now starting to smell the coffee, as it were. Anyway, I've talked for far too long on that because I didn't want to spend nearly 10 minutes on that topic, but there you go, there's an introduction for you. So that'll be coming up soon. It will have a new name, a new title and everything else. And we will start off with some very good, decent guests that will be a great asset to the message, for us to be able to deliver that message to people and hopefully, take it from there. I'd like to give another shout out as well, actually, to a couple of guys who I spoke to and haven't spoke to for about 2 years, I would say, roughly. These were gentlemen who were involved with the GlobalEye Euro tour that took place in 2019 that I am proud to say I was a part of as well. And I came across, just happened to, through my YouTube feeds, come across a podcast that they were doing. And anyway, to cut a long story short, I ended up joining them. And we had a brilliant conversation that evening about all sorts of different things. And it was funny because it doesn't matter what country you're in, everybody has the same struggles, the same concerns, but also the same optimism and all the rest of it, which tells you a lot as well. And that was very enjoyable. So shout out most certainly to Gilly, I think is how you pronounce it, whose channel it was on, Gille. They also, by the way, did some experiments on the River Danube. So these are guys who are active and still involved, boots on the ground type of thing, doing the research that counts, not books and Brian Cox. But yeah, Gilly is one of them, and other chap was Mochi, or Yochi, I should say. Yochi Marcello, I think his name is. I think I pronounced that right. And F.E. Mex. So thank you very much. Apparently they do check in on my reports. So a big shout out to all three of you. It was a pleasure to join you for an hour or so. It was nice to reminisce, and it brought back memories of 2 years ago when things were really moving in the right direction in terms of the Global Eye tour and people's receptiveness to the information that we had to bring them, be it on the streets or through videos and other initiatives, whatever. It was great to talk to them. It was nice to have a chat about those sort of conversations, and good to know that people are still on it and spreading the word and all that. So that was very enjoyable. So hopefully we can repeat that. And to be honest with you, I'd like to also get one or two of them on our show when we have ours up and running as well at some point. But yeah, that's, for the future. But anyway, that was good. So thank you very much for having me on there. That was very enjoyable. Yeah. There we go. So it just reminded me of how this all started, which was through, because it's all connected, you see, the behaviours of the people who kind of ignore the fact that we've been lied to on that level in terms of where we live, the place we live. It's the same kind of dismissiveness, call it cognitive dissonance or cognitive dissonance, whatever you want to call it, but it's the same that gets displayed in all of this that we're having to endure and have done now for 2 years. There you go. What can I say? I'm just looking down here because that's where my notes are, by the way. That's about it, really. That's all I wanted to really bring. We was a couple of almost announcements more than anything else, and mention the fact that we do have a show upcoming and all the rest of it. I will put some links in for that footage, like I said, so you can take a look at them. One or two images are not nice, and it's very stressful for me to look at, I'll be honest with you. Not because there was anything brutal that happened in that sense, on a physical level in that sense. It was totally different, but it was most uncomfortable. But it just goes to show you that not much has changed, really. The same nonsense has been propagated now. I believe that from Tuesday, I do believe, was the latest that I heard. Shops and all the rest of it are going to be encouraged to tell everybody to wear face masks. Now we had this last year, and I'd like to remind people, and nothing's changed, by the way, that, and this is pay attention. I shall say this only once. Face masks are mandatory, but exemptions apply, and you exempt yourself in the United Kingdom. And also, you do not have to display an exemption card when you're not wearing a face mask, because you exempt yourself. No doctors exempt you. They don't write sick notes. They don't write exemption forms because it's not legally binding. So if you exempt yourself in the first place, then what's this all about? But I'd just like to emphasize that. But yeah, they made a big song and dance of it on the radio and TV and everything else. So of course they're already trying to prep people for the inevitable, which I thought was going to happen back in September, October. But anyway, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter because life goes on, and that's the key to all of this. And so we continue on, because what's the point in worrying? We've had enough practice now. Stand in your power, stay strong. And worry about yourself. It's about self-preservation on many levels, but you all know that. I don't have to, I'm preaching to the choir by saying that. I'm really saying it more to remind myself, because I have to, because it's very easy to succumb to the craziness of it all, but there we go. Anyway, so that was just a quick video on my part, just to basically report back, as it were, say hello. Thank you, as always, to those who check in on me and have a look at my videos and stuff like that. I throw all sorts of videos out there. I sometimes put put videos there that have been created by others, but I think that are good, poignant videos to watch, or maybe makes things easy to understand, especially when it comes to the shape of the Earth, for example. And I'll do some walk and talk videos here or there as well, but I'll try and get back more involved in doing this sort of thing, sort of sitting down and discussing what's been spewed from the mouths of the controlled and the handled. Anyway, so on that note, I hope you all have a good week. Like I said, check out the video footage. Do check out my channel. It's Sven P, one word, capital P on the end of it. You know, I'd appreciate your support, if not for you to just simply spread that information to other people. You know, there's a heck of a lot of people who never even heard of the coach incident. I'll give you an example, just to finish off this this news segment. I went to the hairdresser the next week afterwards, and I remember talking to him. He's only a few doors down, and we talk often about football and things because I work at Bournemouth Football Club, and he's a Bournemouth fan and he's local. And hairdressers kind of normally know everything, don't they? They know all the chit chat that goes on. And of course, me being in my kind of bubble, I was sat there getting a trim, and I was talking to him about the coach incident, expecting him to sort of know about it, but of course he didn't know a thing about it. Because and that kind of, well, it highlighted the point to me about the media's involvement in all of this. You know, non-involvement is also involvement, isn't it? Not reporting on stuff is just as crucial as reporting the lies, or reporting lies, I should say. So there are many ways to be in control of a situation. They certainly know how to manipulate those situations. But yeah, there you go. He didn't know about it, and there was me talking away, being all sort of excited about, well, this could be a new dawn, and if we could get this through court case, you know, via court cases and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah, might set precedents and you know, blow the doors open, as it were. But that's what happened. Anyway, but on that note, on that moronic note, see what I did there. I wish you all a good week. Stay in touch with each other, you know what I mean? Keep the good people in your lives and all that sort of thing. And do not comply. Crack on with your lives. Go ahead as normal. Life's too short anyway to be doing what other people tell you to do. All right. So, on that note, for the third time, it's good night from him. He's glad to be back. He loves the camera, you know. I treat him well. He gets fed. Good night from me, and hopefully we'll see you all very soon. Some of you sooner. Take care and ta-ta for now. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.